Hi everyone, it's me, B at Kelly Sunflower. So I thought I'd hop on today and do a flip through and first impressions of my latest Lenormand deck. And this is called When Life Gives You Mangoes, Lenormand Oracle. So this is a 36 card Lenormand deck and guidebook. And it's created by a person called the Hurrican Mystic. So before I show you the cards and guidebook, I just give you a brief description of this deck. A Lenormand Oracle deck and guidebook from West Indian artist and deck creator, the Hurrican Mystic. This colourful deck, which is 36 circular cards, reinvents the Lenormand system drawn from the creator's childhood memories. A detailed booklet gives divinatory meanings for each card, as well as an overview of the Lenormand system. The unique thing about Lenormand that I have observed is the existence of various schools of thought. Germany, France and other parts of Europe expressing different meanings for similar cards or have different numbers of cards altogether pulled from the original 14th century game. As a West Indian spiritualist whose island was colonised by the French and then the British, the influence of French culture can be seen throughout my little cards, as the names of the villages, mountains, folklore and archetype all have a distinctive French influence. I felt it was time for the Caribbean Lenormand school of thought to be heard amongst the many interpretations. This is why I created my deck, a Caribbean-inspired Lenormand oracle, because while the influence of Britain and France wasn't a choice of my ancestors, it is still part of our history and our culture and our voice within the community, and it deserves to be heard. Okay, so before I go into the cards, let's have a quick look at the guidebook. So it's got at the top of the guidebook, welcome to the West Indian School of Lenormand. And obviously the title of the deck, and it says here guidebook by the Hurrican Mystic. There's actually no page numbers, so I'm not quite sure how many pages there are in this guidebook. So it says here, dedicated to the Kemetic deity of writing, communication, language and magic de Junti. Thank you for the inspiration and guidance, and to my homeland for all the memories. When Life Gives You Mangoes, a Caribbean Lenormand oracle by the Hurrican Mystic. I mean, it gives her Instagram page and her web page. So it's got here history of Lenormand. Lenormand oracle system is a form of cartomancy, and then it's got in brackets divining using cards, that has existed for the past few centuries after being popularized in France. Based on a much older French playing card game, the use of Lenormand cards as a means of divination was polarized by Marie Anne Adelaide Lenormand, as she famously divined for Napoleon and predicted his loss in the war. They are all read very differently from tarot and interpreted in a sensitive-like structures with no reversals, as many cards have positive, neutral and negative meanings built into its description. It's an incredible versatile tool and excellent for readers' dreams, interpretations and having conversations with various spirits, as it's a lot more straightforward than using a tarot system. Then she's got here how to read Lenormand. Lenormand cards, as mentioned previously, are read as a sentence in one interpretation, and she's given 3 cards, and she's got here moon, ship, mountain. As a sentence, it can be read as fear, journey, challenge. Interpretation: this individual might be experiencing fear of the future, fear of a new transition or opportunity, and this is part of the challenge they must overcome. And then it's got here Lenormand spreads, the story circle. So I think this is her own kind of spread that she's devised, and it's got here uses. If you consider every circle in your life as a story arc in a book, You can break down the pilot twists, struggles, etc. by performing this reading, essentially giving you a sneak peek into your own book. And then this is a 8-card spread. And then position 1 is card representing you in the present, known as the comfort zone. Position 2 is card presenting what changes you desire or need, known as the desire. Position 3 is card representing the unfamiliar situation, change, or person entering your life, the challenge. Position 4 is the card representing how you should adapt to this change, and it's called the adaptation. Position 5 is the card representing the results of achieving that desire stroke personal need, and it's the satisfaction. Position 6 is the card representing the cost of achieving the goal, and it's called the costs. Card 7 represents what your new normal will look like with this change implemented, and it's called the return. And position 8 is the card that represents the final stage before entering a new cycle. Questions to ask, including how would I grow from the journey? Is the journey worth pursuing? And then she talks about Lenormand spreads, the orientation method. Did you know you can get additional spiritual information using this method? Don't always be so quick to correct the orientation of a circle card. There is a message there too. So I think this is the kind of like the way that the cards kind of fall, you know, sideways, upside down, to the left-hand side, and upright. The beginning stages of the journey indicates that incoming energy will take a while to manifest. So I'm gathering that's this card. Then this card here is 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. The halfway point energy has time to shift to either directions. Person can take steps to avoid negative outcomes, or if positive steps to bring incoming positive energy. Then this position here is the 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. energy approaching, almost present but not quite waiting. Time to manifest into present reality is fairly short. And then this position here is 9 p.m. to 12 p.m. current energy. And she's got here, get some tea. So this one is another Lenormand spread. It's called the freshwater and seawater boundary. Find and place the card freshwater and seawater boundary face up. Okay, which is this card. Step 2, place card 1 on either side of the card. The freshwater or green side is where you're coming from, and the sea or blue side will represent where you're going or what's entering into your life. The transitionary periods can also be elaborated by placing cards on top and bottom of the center card. It can tell you how you can prepare for the challenge or challenges ahead. Tips: a great spread to use after road opener rituals. Then it's got here, what deities walk with me, energy identification. We all have deities that walk with us. If you believe in past lives, sometimes they follow us over life, afterlife, and other times. Our ancestors had a relationship. Them and they, in turn, had protect their descendants in honour of their dedication. Now, a few distinctions to make clear. 1, ask the deities to present their energies one at a time. 2, sometimes you can have deities with very similar roles. For example, a deity associated with dreams and crossbows could easily be both Hermes or Hecate. Divine deeper and pull at least 5 cards that summarize their main roles. Ask the spirits in question to reveal their energy and introduce themselves to you by listing their main attributes or what they are known for. Example: cutlass, slipper, sun. A repeating theme of conflict and arguments may indicate a war deity, specifically a sun war deity. There seems to be a spelling mistake here, because it says here they are quite few of these, including Skemet. The next part is then on your research and asking the deity to reveal themselves slowly to you over time. This is why it's important to identify gods one at a time, to avoid mixed signals and mislabeling. Working with the spirit that protects you and developing a relationship with them is a beautiful thing, but absolutely your choice. Tips: do a spiritual bath before attempting this. Clear your energy of unwanted stagnant ones so that the information flows more clearly. A simple salt bath or coconut milk bath will do. You do not have to work with the deities if you do not want to. It is up to you if you wish to develop a deeper relationship. Then she talks about the playing card associations. So clovers and clubs, material, physical, home, money, family, earth, energy. And then hearts, emotions, feelings, intuition, relationship, water, energy. Spades, thoughts, planning, mental fortitude, communication, wind energy. And diamonds, inspiration, energy, creativity, action, fire energy. How to quit guide. Combining suits and the numerology can allow for unique additional interpretations for your cards. Different cultures can interpret the suits in various ways. In Hoodoo and other ATRs, readings from playing cards is very common practice, and if you are a part of these cultures, you can ascribe the meanings of the suits accordingly for additional messages and information. Then she goes on to interpret all of the 36 Lenormand cards. So I must say that the names have been changed. I will give you the traditional names as I flip through the cards. But for example, now the marble is the rider in a traditional Lenormand deck. So she's got here the marble number 1, and the meanings, keywords she's got here is leadership, strength, confidence, innovator, beginnings, the energy of the fall, a starting point. Then playing card association is the 9 of Hearts. Sentence: speed, fast change, swift movement, lacking impulse, control, and or destination. And then the meaning is, or her meaning is, in primary schools across St. Vincent, students would carry entire jars filled with marbles for games during recess. With all the intensity of a domino match, these marbles were well loved and treasured. Marbles were pit against each other constantly, launched at high speeds in deliberate, calculated angles and moves. While I do not remember the exact rules of the games, I did remember that speed, position and planning one's path was all important features in order to secure a win. If you have drawn this card, consider the parts of your life you are inquiring about and know that life is about to speed up. Plan effectively and stay attuned, because marbles have a funny habit that once launched, if you take your eyes off them, they can disappear into bushes, never to be found again. Marbles can also represent bountiful energy that, when used effectively, can change your life for the better. However, marbles can also cause injury, so be mindful of the people or situations in which you put your efforts in. So this is done for each of the 36 cards. So the number, the playing card association, sentence of words, and then the author interprets her childhood memories of each card. Okay, so that's the guidebook. So let's have a look at the cards now. So they come in this beautiful box that you just lift up. So the cards are round. Then the insert of the box says, let yourself grow. So let's have a look at the back of the box before I look at the cards. It's got here, comes a Caribbean-inspired Lenormand Oracle, a 36-card deck with inspiration drawn from the creator's childhood memories. Let it aid you well on your journey. So, as mentioned earlier, the cards have been changed, the archetypes. So, the cards are quite finished. These are the backs of the cards. It's got fruit and stuff, lovely green colour. So, card 1, the marble, would be the rider in the traditional Lenormand deck. And it's got some keywords here. So it's got a picture of marbles and the keyword says fast moving energy or events. So card 2 is the honeysuckle, and that would be the clover in the traditional Lenormand. And it says here, good luck is on your side. Position 3 is the canoe, which would be the ship in the traditional deck. And the keyword says, a journey or distant travel awaits you. Position 4 is the house, and that is the same name in the traditional deck. And it says, the beginning of a new establishment that will bring many blessings. Position 5 is the mango tree, and that will be the tree in the traditional Lenormand deck. And it says, honouring your past as well as your present. Position 6 is the clouds, and that is the name in the traditional deck. And the keyword says, things are being hidden from your view. Position 7 is the obi, and that will be the snake in the traditional Lenormand deck. And it says, temptation, deception, a seeker of hidden wisdom. Position 8 is the shadow pot, and that will be the coffin in the traditional Lenormand deck. And the keywords are endings, loss, and grief. Position 9 is the hibiscus, and that will be the bouquet in traditional Lenormand. And it says here, a token of appreciation from the spirit. Position 10 is the cutlass, and that will be the scythe in the traditional Lenormand deck. And it says, a warning of danger, accidents, or hasty decisions. Position 11 is the slipper, and that would be the whip in the traditional Lenormand deck. And it says here, a warning of harsh conflicts or arguments. So card 12 is the hummingbird, and that will be the birds in the traditional Lenormand deck. And this symbolises nervous energy, excitement, or serves as a warning for gossip. Card 13 is the baby, and this will be the child in the traditional Lenormand deck. It's got a dummy there. New beginnings and learning old lessons. Card 14 is Mr. Nancy, and that will be the fox in the traditional Lenormand deck. And this is called symbolises cunning or innovative thinking and the energy of a trickster. Card 15 is the killer whale, and that will be the bear in the traditional Lenormand deck. And this is a time for assertiveness, leadership, or dominance. Card 16, the golden apple, that will be the stars in the traditional Lenormand deck. Have faith that all is well. Position 17 is the, or card 17 is the jumping lizard, and that will be the stork in the traditional Lenormand deck. A new cycle after a period of stagnation. Card 18, the puppy, would be the dog in the traditional Lenormand deck. You have the support of a loyal friend, spirit, or ancestor. Card 19 is the fort, and that would be the tower in the traditional Lenormand deck. Isolation, loneliness, and the consequence of arrogance. Card 20, the Yamfields. That would be the garden in the traditional Lenormand deck. Community, teamwork, and networking. Card 21 is the dormant volcano. That will be the mountain in the traditional Lenormand deck, and that is obstacles to overcome. Card 22, fresh and seawater boundary. That would be the crossroads in the traditional Lenormand deck. Embrace the in-between and contemplate your choices. Card 23, the agouti. That would be the mice in the traditional Lenormand deck and symbolises a defect, difficulty, flaw or a disease. Card 24 is the heart, and it's also the heart in the traditional Lenormand deck, and that is the energy of love is around you. Card 25, the ring, and that's also the ring in the traditional Lenormand deck. Contracts or commitments are at the forefront of this scenario. Card 26, the Kalengo Perclyptus, which will be the book in the traditional Lenormand deck, and that is the life of a student is endless as there is always much to learn. Card 27, the email, would be the letter in the traditional Lenormand deck. Incoming communication, mercurial energy surrounds you. Card 28, which is the sugarcane, would be the man in the traditional Lenormand deck. Energy of the masculine action, planning and focus. Card 29, the passion fruit, would be the female in traditional Lenormand deck, or the woman. Energy of the feminine, intuitive, receiving, expressing. Card 30, the tiger lily, is the lily, and in the traditional Lenormand deck, and this represents the healing power of sexual expression. Now, lily cards, there's usually two lily cards. There's normally like a white lily and a red lily, and to me the white lily is all about virtue and purity, and I feel that this could be the red lily. So it would have been nice if there was a card for each lily. So card 31 is the sun, and it's also the sun in the traditional Lenormand deck, and a positive conclusion approaches. Card 32 is the moon, and it's also the moon in the traditional Lenormand deck. Secrets and inner fears are coming to surface. Card 33 is the key, and it's also the key in the traditional Lenormand deck, and it says here, revelations and achievements await you. Card 34 is Mama de Lou, and in the traditional Lenormand deck, this would be the fish, or the fishes. Abundance and material wealth. The energy of the ocean surrounds you. Card 35 is the coral reef, and that would be the anchor in the traditional Lenormand deck, a symbol of stability and resilience. And card 36 is the archway, and that would be the cross in the traditional Lenormand deck, and it says here, relic that symbolises past suffering or intolerance. What are my thoughts so far on this deck? I've used this deck on a few occasions for my current Instagram challenge. I feel that as long as you know the numbering, you shouldn't have a problem with the name changes. I actually bought this deck from Little Red Tarot, so there is a link for the old and the new names, which I can link in the description bar. Although the playing card associations are in the book, they're not actually on the cards, so it would have been nice if there was some kind of playing card associations on the cards also. I like the keywords. The keywords are quite fitting, in my opinion, but I would have just have liked if card 30, which is the lily, let me just find card 30 here. So the tiger lily, I would have liked it if there was two cards for that to represent the white lily and the red lily, because they do have different meanings. So let me just shuffle these cards to see how they shuffle. Oh, they shuffle quite good, but then again, I am an overhand shuffler. I do feel that riffle shufflers may also find these cards quite easy to shuffle because they're quite finish. They've got a lovely linen feel. And I look forward to my continual use of this deck. I will add a link in the description bar to the Little Red Tarot shop, because this is where I bought these cards. They're around £37, £38. I will also add a link to the card meanings, and the author also gives like a beginner guide as well on the Little Red Tarot, so I will also add that link there. If I can find it, I will also add a link to these cards from Hurrican Mystic's website. But on her website, there's actually $75, which I'd say would roughly about £70. So I think they're actually cheaper to buy on the Little Red Tarot. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.